VA Health and Benefits, official mobile app for VA Health and Benefits. VA's official mobile app is a smarter, more convenient way for veterans to manage and carry their VA health and benefits information. One veteran notes, "I went into my local hardware store and logged into my VA mobile app. A quick glance at my phone showed them I was a veteran, and I was able to get the veteran discount without any paperwork. It was easy and convenient." Download the app via the Apple Store at https://apple.co/3 lowercase b lowercase k 9 uppercase O lowercase l, or download the app via the Google Play Store at https://bit.ly/3 uppercase q 5 lowercase q 9 uppercase l 5.
Hello and welcome again to Oscar Mike Radio. My name is Travis. I'm your host. Oscar Mike Radio is part of the Hubazoo Network. You can find out more on hubazoo.com. I want to thank my sponsors, Joyce Asack of Asack Real Estate, Army National Guard veteran Mark Holmes of Reapers Detailing and Power Washing, and my supporters, all veteran-owned businesses, Semper Savage, Bottom Gun Coffee, and Caisson Shaving Company. And this show you're watching on a Monday means that we are doing a Monday show about the story of Denisha Montgomery Smith. She was a private first class. She was in the military police out of Kentucky and served in the U.S. Army. She passed last year in August of 2022, and a lot has been done behind the scenes and people trying to raise awareness about this. And I'm pleased, honored, and humbled to introduce Tomeka Light, who is a Army veteran, served our country, and is Denisha's aunt. And Tomeka, welcome to the show. I'm very, grateful for your time.
Thank you for having me.
So there's been a lot printed, a lot said about the situation with your niece. But one thing that I'm missing is, who is Denisha? And you kind of told me that, hey, we could be here for a while, talking about Denisha, but kind of take me back a little bit. What was it like seeing a young Denisha grow up?
Oh, wow. Denisha, like I told you earlier, Travis, she was such a jewel. As a baby, she had the most beautiful smile and just light up the room every time that you would see her. She was very family oriented, loved her sisters, loved her cousins, and she come from a large family on a lot of sides, a lot of people who loved her. She was dedicated, and anything that she wanted to do, she put her mind to, and she did it. It was no stopping her. She was like a little tomboy. At times, I remember taking her and my daughter and my son to the park and allowing them to fly kites and everything. And I mean, she would just run around and just hang with the best of them, and you couldn't tell her no for nothing.
So that's the thing about being an aunt, right? You get all the benefits of being like the mom with, none of the real like bad stuff. You can be the cool, you can be the cool one, right?
But yeah, the cool.
Right.
Exactly.
Did she know at a young age that you served in the military?
Yes, she did. Her and her sisters knew at a young age that I was serving the country. They was very proud of me. You could see it on their faces every time I seen them, and you know how they looked up to me in my uniform and everything. So it was a joy to just to see the smile on their faces and know that I'm trying to make a difference for our family too.
Because that's the thing. I mean, usually, I mean, honestly, it's. I talk to a lot of guys, and they don't really think about, the effect they have on their kids or siblings or nephews and nieces. But, you're a woman serving our country in the army. You went to Afghanistan, and
Yes.
you have your children. You have this niece who's watching everything you do. What was that like to you?
Well, when she first mentioned going into the military, to me, I was quite surprised. And she was like, Aunt Tomeka, I want to follow your footsteps. And I was like, wow, really? And to see that I made that type of an impact on my nieces was just outstanding. But Denisha it wasn't just me that was in the military. Denisha came from a family of veterans, on both sides, her mom's side and on her father's side. So we was a proud family to serve. And for her to join in the footsteps right along with everyone else, it was just such an honor.
So tell me a little bit about that. Who else in the Montgomery Smith family served in the military? What did they do?
Well, her grandmother, my mom, was actually an operating room technician in the military, the Army Reserves. Um, Her grandfather, he did Roosevelt Nixon. He did the Vietnam War, Purple Heart recipient also. Um,
So
she has an uncle on her mom's side who's actually currently serving in the military. And so, yeah, I mean, it's a long list.
so it's a long list, and it's not just from the last 10, 15 years. This goes back generations in your family. So this legacy of service, right, goes back generations in both sides of the family. you
Yes.
all you all really love being Americans and living as Americans, it seems.
Yes, we served our country. We served it quite honorably. And for this younger generation to just come in right behind us and follow along in our footsteps, it made us very proud.
Did you get a chance to see Denisha swear in?
No, I didn't get a chance to see her swear in, but it was all over our social media. So it was like I was there.
What's going through your mind as you're watching her raise her hand and swear in?
Man,
Something
it
something
was,
something that you had done.
yes, it was like a flashback all over again. I could see the excitement and anxiety on her face because it's something new, but I seen the determination in her eyes and I knew that she was going to be okay.
It must it's one thing to go through it yourself, right? And you don't really think about anybody else. And I know I didn't. When I swore in, it was just me doing it. I really didn't think about what anybody else thought at that time. But when you have like your own family and this young woman who you saw from a little girl playing with your kids in the park, all that just flashes back to like, this is not a kid anymore, but she's still a kid.
Yeah. Yes. To see her to just develop into the woman that she had became was just quite amazing, just so beautiful inside and out. And just like I said, I mean, so dedicated to her family, to her boys. And for her to jump into this military, she was like, I'm ready for a career and I want to be a military police officer. And I mean, she dug deep and she did what she needed to do.
And
And next
now,
thing,
did you
there
tell
she
her, Tomeka, that hey, you sure you want to be an MP?
Yes, I did quite. I did tell her, I said, now, that's a lot of long hours and, you got your boys to think about. But she was like, Aunt Tamika, this is something I really, really wanted to do. And I think the discipline would be good for her boys. And she was just hard charging and it was like, okay, all I could do was just say, I'm here to support you. Hoorah.
Let's go a little different angle. I saw the pictures of her boys, and I'm a father of three sons myself, and I'm trying to understand what that's like, right? What kind of mother was she like? Because it seemed like, from what I was able to see, that she truly, loved being a mom.
She did. She would do anything for her boy. And that was one of the things that hurt us so much, is that we knew how much she loved Josiah, Judah, and Jordan, and how does she wanted to make a better life for herself and for her boys. And she was really just dedicated. I mean, even when she fell on hard times, what she considered was hard times, she had her family to fall back on, but she always put her boys first, no matter what, no matter what. So you can't tell me that she took her life.
That's kind of a follow-up I wanted to ask. How important was family to her? How important was having the support of you, her aunt, who served the country, got the Purple Heart? How important was her family in that area of her life?
I believe that if Denisha didn't have her family, she probably would not have went into the military. That's just how dedicated she was. She always went to her dad and asked for advice from her dad and her mom. And then, like I said, she comes from a family of veterans. So anywhere she turned a corner, she had plenty of people that was there to support her and be her cheerleader.
So, one of the things that I noticed is, her husband seemed to really support Denisha going in the military. I was just curious, as an aunt, you're watching this married couple have the kids and move through life. How did they work together as a team, her husband and her?
Well, there came a decision to where her husband would be the Mr. Mom while she was gone, and he stepped up to the plate and really took on the role of Denisha, the missing mom and the family, the cooking, the cleaning, and the child rearing, and all of that. So he really supported her in her decision, and I mean, and he has put forth his best effort to try to make sure that them boys are still good to go.
That's amazing. It's like I said, it's one thing to see it, from the male soldier serving and the mom wife doing that, but you don't ever really see the husband be Mr. Mom and do that. And so,
Yes.
I learned about Denisha in this story, and it must be difficult to talk about. I can't imagine what this has been like for you all, but she was obviously going through something in Germany. She reached out to her family, right? What was your thought when you started getting an idea that, hey, something's not right?
Oh man, my heart dropped the evening I received the phone call and found out that she had been attacked in Germany. And I was urging my brother and her husband to reach out to her chain of command. I'm like, you can go to the CQ desk. That's why I was trying to tell her husband that you are able to go on post, to go to the CQ desk, to file a report, and say, hey, this is what's going on with my wife. I need to get in touch with her chain of command. And I also, instructed my brother, which I didn't have to really instruct him because he was already on the phone with the Red Cross, and going around those avenues to get the help that she needed. So when I heard about it, I was devastated. Like, okay, this sounds serious, and I was trying to ask, okay, who was with her, what was going on, so we can try to, make some type of decisions. Hey, who do we need to talk to? What do we need to do to make sure that she's going to be safe? But in the back of my mind, I had a feeling that something was going to happen, but I just did not think that it was going to be my niece's life being taken from us.
You served for 15 years, right?
13.
13 years, excuse me. So, and you were like a sergeant or staff sergeant when you got out? So you've seen situations, maybe not like this, but where stuff like this happens and you have to be an NCO and make decisions about what you're going to do.
Yes.
This must have been like, what is going on? And
it was like, where's the leadership over here in this situation, period. I knew that when I had soldiers under my command that I had to be all in their whereabouts, on post, off post, and we've had corrective actions for incidents that took place off post when our soldiers was in some type of altercation or anything that they was involved in, and to see that it didn't seem like anything was done. There was no follow-up or anything like that. And then 21 days later, her life is taken. Yeah, we have a problem with that.
Well, that's the thing, right? I mean, I was a terminal lance. It's a long story. I wasn't a bad Marine. It was just, hey, your job's going away type of Marine. But I can tell you that, to your point, if we even coughed wrong or if there was a fist thrown in the field, our corporals and sergeants knew about it in minutes, and corrective action was applied immediately. They didn't. And so it was just weird that she said she got attacked in the car, right? And nothing seemed to happen.
Yes, exactly. And then, from my understanding, the person that was driving the car was an NCO, so it was a straight cover up from the get go. Once they was let out at the gate, that NCO was allowed to just leave. So it begs the question: who came to the gate and received them? Why wasn't there any questions being asked of the driver at that moment? And questions the other fellow soldiers that was involved, and corrective action.
I don't know the answer to that. It was just weird going through the progression of events, just understanding how things are supposed to go, right? And so this leads me up to the thing that really kind of made me say, okay, we got a real situation here, just from being on the outside looking in, was a cell phone video she took.
Yes.
Did you get a chance to watch that when she sent that?
Yes, I did. And my heart was breaking when I seen that. I seen the fear, the tears in her eyes. I seen that she was clearly marked up with bruises and marks around her neck, a burn on her shoulder. And I knew that was a serious incident that had took place in that vehicle.
Exactly. I'm not diminishing this because, look, sometimes we were roughhousing in the field or whatever, whatever. And sometimes it got a little out of hand. Sometimes somebody got a bruise, but this was not that.
No, this was clearly not a roughhousing situation. And then we obtained other video from our briefings with the CID, and they actually had footage of the altercation inside of the vehicle. And just like we thought, she was clearly assaulted.
That video. Now I didn't see that video until way later. I only saw that video like a month ago when I finally saw it. But when you see that video, you can't sit there and say, well, this was just an isolated incident or roughhousing, right? This was like, we're going to prove a point to you.
Yeah, exactly. Like, we need you to get in this car. We need you to be quiet and go with us. And when things was not going their way, they knew, hey, we're gonna have to let her out. Like, I feel like that's where the lack of leadership comes in, because once they all was able to exit the vehicle, then it's like, oh, nothing really happened. They removed her and her roommate
Okay.
from each other, but they were still in such close quarters.
They removed her from her roommate?
Yeah, her and her roommate was one of the occupants in the
Oh, that's
vehicle.
right. That's right. Okay.
So they had moved them, but they still shared a Jack and Jill bathroom.
That was also strange to me because generally when, an incident does happen, they separate you to prevent any kind of further escalation between the two parties, right?
Right. But they're all in the same barracks.
I just didn't know what to think. I'm like, you can't make this up, but it's happening. And I'm like, it's just one catastrophe after another with this.
Yeah, one thing after the other. And it hurts. It hurts that here was this beautiful young soul who wanted to go in and serve her country and to have a legacy for her children. And now her life got cut short by why? Why in the military say, oh, she was suicidal. She was depressed and she was suicidal. Well, no, she wasn't. She wanted to come home to her children. She missed them. She missed her husband.
So
she was suicidal.
Just to ask, I mean, I don't like to assume, but like, there's no way in your mind, as you've known her from when she was a baby till when she swore in, that you believe that she would commit suicide over this, that she wanted to be with her family.
No, like I said, when Denisha fell on tough times, those times she had plenty of opportunity if she wanted to take her life then. Once she became a mom and a wife, and the things just lit a fire inside of her want to be better, and for her to want to make this career choice for her boys and for her husband, it made us so proud. There wasn't nothing in there that said, oh, I'm going to join the military to commit suicide. I'm going to join the military, do my basic training, my AIT, one of the toughest training you can get when you first enlisted in the military. But I'm going to make sure that I get to Germany and then I'm just going to kill myself. No. I'm going to just kill myself and not leave a note for my boys or for my family or any indications to say, hey, this is what's going on with me and I don't want to be here no more. None of that. But you do be conscious enough to send us a video of an altercation that you have 21 days prior to your death that shows, hey, this is what's going on to me. And she clearly states in this video that she does not trust her leadership or the ones that was around her.
I think that was the saddest part of the whole thing is, when you go into the Army, Marine Corps, Navy, or Air Force, they tell you, hey, we're going to take care of you. I got your six. No man, no woman left behind,
That's right.
And it just seemed like I'm like, where was her senior enlisted and officer leadership to advocate for? It just, I still haven't gotten an answer to that. I'm not going to try to answer it here, but it keeps coming up in my mind.
From what I understand, her unit was separated in Europe and she fell under a different unit. And from what I understand, they was confused about who took leadership over these soldiers. So that tells me that you got a bunch of rogue soldiers just out there doing anything they want to do. And that's dangerous within itself, especially being Oconus, So I just don't, I can't picture how you can just have a group of soldiers that does not have a complete structure of leadership that's over them and that's outlined so that they will know, hey, this is who I fall under.
Yeah, because you're watching this unfold, right? And you've got 13
Right.
years active duty. You've got your, staff sergeant, rank. You know how this goes. So this has to
Yes,
really hit you hard that what happened to my army?
that's right. That's right. I came in at a time where we still spit shine our boots.
Yep.
It wasn't none of this get up and put on your uniform and go. You know, you had to really take pride in your uniform. And I had the first sergeants and the captains and the lieutenants that was over me that clearly was about soldiering soldiers, and they was all about being all up in our business as privates, you know, just to make sure, hey, we got to make sure that you're living right. We got to make sure that, you know, you're where you're supposed to be when you're supposed to be there, and all of those wonderful structured things. And this right here was really just a tragedy.
It is a tragedy. And so a lot of people ask me, what can I do? Because here's the thing, Tomeka, I've people have watched my show and asked as civilians who watch it and veterans who watch it, and they want to know what can we do? Because to us, for a lot of us who served, I never met Denisha. I didn't meet you until we started recording, but it didn't matter to me and a lot of us that, we didn't serve with your niece. She took the same oath we did. You took the same
That's
oath.
right.
So as far as I'm concerned, we're all family and we've got to stick up for each other. And so we're just trying to get an idea of what could we do to really help you all during this time.
Right now, we are really trying to get her name out into the public eye and ear. If we can share the hashtag I am Denisha Montgomery Smith, and also share the story of her assault on their social media platforms, or like you have on your radio station, we would gladly appreciate that. We also have a GoFundMe put together for any legal assistance we need going forward, whether it's private investigator or what have you, because we are very determined to get to the bottom of what happened to Denisha Montgomery Smith.
Well, I can tell you from, my experience so far, when I sit there and tell the story, it's like, what can we do? The latest thing that we've done is a bunch of us veterans got together and, we wrote our senators and representatives saying,
Yes.
hey, we want you to look at this. It doesn't matter. We got to take care of all of us. So
Exactly, getting all of our senators and our leadership involved in knowing who Denisha was, and inquiring, well, who is this soldier whose name is trending like this? What is it that we need to know about what's going on? Maybe Denisha can be another Vanessa Gillian story where her name has made a change, has become a change agent in this military.
something's got to give, right? Because we can't keep sending our young kids in the military, have them get, traumatized like this, and then mysteriously disappear, die, and no one knows anything. It can't go on like this.
Exactly. Word needs to spread that there is a lot of injustice happening in the military, that the military is not above the law, that we need to make sure this doesn't happen again to other male or female soldiers that could be experiencing some of the same things that Denisha went through. We would also tell them, hey, if this is happening to you, leave a digital footprint. If we didn't have those videos of Denisha right now, we don't know where we would be.
I was getting ready to ask you. We all sit there, and I'm at the VFW. We're talking about your niece, and they're all coming to the same conclusion. What would be going on right now if she hadn't made the video? I don't even want to imagine, because I don't think anything would have happened.
No, I don't think anything would have happened. I really don't. I don't think we would have known what happened. I just it's hard to even, because there's no leadership, so it's hard to even explain what really would still be going on over there.
One of the things that, along with the video, is that Denisha reached out to you all, her family, and said, hey, I'm going through this, where a lot of active duty service members are like, no, I don't want to tell mom or dad or my siblings what's going on. But
Exactly.
she did in this case. Are you saying that if you're serving right now and you're going through something like this, to get your mom and dad on the phone and say, hey, I'm having a problem?
I would say so. I mean, there's only so much a civilian family member can do, but they can raise some flags up to their congressmen, congresswomen, and say, hey, there's some injustices is going on with my service member, and we need your help. We need you to reach out and touch someone.
Well, I think it's very important, because those congressmen know that if they don't, it's not going to be well. So and it's their constituents. I mean, they're there to serve us. I don't know how this is going to go, Tomeka. I have no crystal ball. I felt a sense of real loss, only because I'm a parent. This really hit me hard because I was a parent myself. And I can't imagine what you all are going through with all this uncertainty right now.
Yes.
My heart goes out to you. And, I told, people who are helping you out right now, who they are, that, I'm going to try to be there for the long haul and see how this goes. So I don't know you. I've never met you until now, but I'm not going to exaggerate here. I'm calling you my sister in arms, because that's what we are, and we're going to be here for you.
Yes, I really appreciate you, what you're doing, and you using your platform to get my niece's story out. And I cannot thank you enough for everything.
Well, I'm not going anywhere, and well, hopefully not going anywhere anytime soon. But as this goes on, I'm definitely going to keep the light shined on there. I do what I can. But the cool thing is, I hate to put it like that, but it is telling the story. Other people saying, you know what, that's messed up. How can I help? I'll write a letter. I'll send an email to my congressman. And I think you're right. If enough people do it, it's going to cause a wave.
Yes, yes, and that's what we need right now. We need a tidal wave to go through, and I know we've pushed it in the media a few times, and it's really been getting overshadowed by a lot of other things that's going on in the media. But I feel like if we stay on top of it and keep her name prevalent, that someone will take notice and at least give us a helping hand.
Well,
for justice.
It takes one, then it takes one more, then it takes 100 more, and that's how it works. I just want to thank you for coming on and talking with me. I learned a whole lot about the woman, the girl and the woman, and the service member who's Denisha, and your family's legacy of service to this country cannot be overstated. Tomeka, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Well, again, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Travis with Oscar Mike Radio. I'm going to have the GoFundMe link in this show post, and some of the other news articles that have come out on different platforms. You can go and actually see what we've been talking about. I have written a template letter to my congressman. If you want that letter, email me. I'll have the email below. And, Tomeka, we are Denisha Montgomery Smith. I am Denisha Montgomery Smith. Thank you again. As we say in Oscar Mike Radio, we are mission in flight. Thank you.
Join us on National Wreaths Across America Day, December 16th, 2023. Each December on National Wreaths Across America Day, our mission to remember, honor, and teach is carried out by coordinating wreath-laying ceremonies at Arlington National Cemetery, as well as more than 3,700 additional locations in all 50 states, at sea and abroad. Join us by sponsoring a veteran's wreath at a cemetery near you, volunteering, or donating to a local sponsor group.
Thank you for listening and watching Oscar Mike Radio, where our active duty service members and veterans are in action and the mission is in flight. If you are a veteran or know a veteran who needs help, please dial 998 and press 1 for the Veterans Crisis Line.